If you're anything like me, you probably think New Year's resolutions are, well, kind of pointless. Most of us go about changing our lives in completely the wrong way. We set these arbitrary goals just because it's what everyone else is doing around the 1st of January, right? We're basically creating superficial meaning out of status games. But the thing is, that doesn't meet the real requirements for true change. Real change goes a lot deeper than just trying to convince yourself that you're going to be more disciplined or productive this year. The harsh reality is that people try to change their lives and, almost every single time, they utterly fail. But look, it's always wise to reflect on the parts of your life that you genuinely dislike, so you can actually launch yourself towards something much better. So this isn't just something to passively listen to and forget. We're going to take a calm, comprehensive look into behavior change, psychology, and productivity.
Identity determines behavior. When we set massive goals for ourselves, we usually focus on what seems like the most obvious thing, which is changing our actions. But what we're missing there is the absolute first-order requirement. You have to change who you are before your behavior naturally follows. Think about a professional bodybuilder or a highly successful CEO. They aren't constantly grinding and forcing themselves to do what they do. It's simply who they are. The behavior is just a natural byproduct of their identity.
There's a brilliant quote from Alfred Adler that says, "Trust only movement. Life happens at the level of events, not of words." To actually change who you are, you have to understand how your mind works so you can essentially reprogram it. And the very first step here is realizing that all behavior is goal-oriented. It's teleological, meaning you take a step forward because you consciously want to reach a specific location. You scratch your nose because you want to stop an itch. Those are obvious, conscious goals. But here's the catch. Most of the time, our goals are entirely unconscious. When you're just sitting on the couch scrolling on your phone in the middle of the day, you might actually be unconsciously trying to burn time before your next stressful responsibility.
Now, on a more complex level, we often pursue goals that actually harm us, but we justify them with these socially acceptable conscious excuses. We do this so we don't look or feel like a failure. For example, if you constantly procrastinate, you might consciously tell yourself, I just lack discipline. But your unconscious goal, it's actually to protect yourself from the judgment that inevitably comes from finishing and sharing your work with the world. Or say you stay in a dead-end job that you claim to hate. You might say, well, I'm just not a risk taker. But your true unconscious goal is safety, predictability, and avoiding looking like a failure to people who view that steady job as a sign of success. So to experience real change, you have to change these underlying goals. A goal is essentially a projection into the future. It acts as a lens for your perception, dictating exactly what information and resources you even notice in the first place.
Maxwell Maltz once wrote, "If you are firmly convinced that idea is true, it has the same power over you as the hypnotist's words." You see, our current identities are fiercely protected. Think back to when you were a child. Your primary goal was simply survival, and you were completely dependent on your parents. Because of that, you had to conform to their beliefs and values, just to avoid punishment. You absorb these culturally accepted ideas of what success looks like. And once our basic physical survival is met, we start surviving on a conceptual or ideological level. We protect our minds. When your identity feels threatened, you go straight into a fight or flight response, exactly as you would if your physical body were in danger. You literally feel the stress, almost like a slap in the face. This fear-based protection of our identity is exactly what keeps us locked into psychological consistency, forcing us to double down on patterns that are often actively harming us.
So let's walk through the actual anatomy of how this identity is formed, because it operates in a very strict cycle. First, you want to achieve a goal. Second, you begin to perceive reality exclusively through the lens of that goal. Third, you only notice information that aids it. Fourth, you take action and you receive feedback from the world. Fifth, you repeat that behavior until it literally becomes unconscious conditioning. Sixth, that conditioned behavior crystallizes into who you think you are. It becomes your identity. Seventh, you defend this new identity to maintain psychological consistency. And finally, step 8, your identity shapes brand new goals, and the whole cycle restarts. It's a closed loop. And the unfortunate reality is, if you ever want to truly change, you have to violently break this cycle.
Moving on to the evolution of the mind. The philosophical premise here is that the mind doesn't just stay static. It actually evolves through very predictable stages over time. Understanding this progression, how we move from basic instinctual survival to highly complex self-awareness, is absolutely critical if you want to break free from your current limitations.
And this beautifully illustrates the stages of ego development. We move from the impulsive stage at the bottom, where a toddler hits someone because their feeling and their behavior are the exact same thing, all the way up to the unitive stage, where the separation between yourself and life itself just dissolves. But take a really close look at the middle stages here. Honestly, most of us watching this hover somewhere between stage 4, which is self-aware, and stage 8, construct-aware. If you're closer to stage 4, you're likely actively searching for a change. You feel like you're meant for more and you're
starting to notice that your rich inner life doesn't match your exterior reality. But if you're closer to stage 8, you've realized that all these frameworks, even your own carefully crafted identity, are really just useful fictions. Moving through these stages isn't random. It follows a distinct, predictable pattern of expanding awareness.
The only real test of intelligence is if you get what you want out of life. That's from Naval Ravikant. You see, navigating these stages of awareness requires a very specific type of intelligence. Success basically boils down to 3 core ingredients: agency, opportunity, and intelligence. If you have plenty of agency but zero opportunity, your actions just won't bear fruit. But on the flip side, if you have both agency and opportunity, yet you lack intelligence, you're never going to fully benefit from what's right in front of you. And in this context, we aren't talking about rote memorization or getting good grades. Intelligence is strictly defined as the interplay between your agency, your opportunities, and your actual ability to iterate and steer your life toward what you genuinely want. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can visualize this exact concept through something called cybernetics. The word itself actually comes from Greek, and it translates to steer, or the art of getting what you want. Look at the relationship between the boat and the lighthouse here. Intelligent systems have a clear goal. They take action toward that goal. Then they sense where they currently are, compare that location to the ultimate goal, and they act again based on that new feedback. It's exactly like a ship getting blown off course by the wind, but continually correcting itself to reach its destination. This constant, ongoing loop of sensing and correcting is the ultimate art of steering your life. And we can contrast this really clearly. The defining mark of low intelligence is an inability to learn from mistakes. People operating with low intelligence get completely stuck on problems. They hit a roadblock, they throw their hands up, and they quit. They fail to experiment and iterate to figure out a process that actually works. High intelligence, on the other hand, fully embraces the chaos of iteration over a massive timescale. High intelligence means you are constantly acting, sensing, comparing, and understanding the entire system from a meta perspective. It's the profound realization that virtually any problem can be solved if you just study the feedback and adapt. But doing that requires rejecting the safe, known path. It means diving headfirst into the unknown and setting new, higher goals to continually expand your mind. So, we arrive at the one-day protocol. How do you actually reach these profound insights in your own life? Well, I want to walk you through a highly practical one-day protocol designed to launch you into a completely new life. This protocol relies on the painful, yet entirely necessary act of deep questioning. It's designed to force you through the 3 crucial phases of profound change: dissonance, uncertainty, and ultimately, discovery.
We start in the morning with what we call a psychological excavation. You have to sit down and ask yourself, what is the dull and persistent dissatisfaction you've simply learned to live with? I'm not talking about deep, acute suffering here, but rather the low-level misery you have just accepted as normal. What truth about your current life would be absolutely unbearable to admit to someone you deeply respect? We're going to use these answers to forge your anti-vision. This is a brutal, unvarnished awareness of the life you absolutely refuse to live. Ask yourself, if nothing changes for the next 5 years, what does an average Tuesday look like? What experiences have you entirely missed out on?
And then you must face this question. What identity would you have to give up to actually change? Think about it. What would it cost you socially to no longer be that specific person? What is the single most embarrassing reason you haven't changed yet? The reason that makes you sound weak or scared rather than logical or reasonable? This step requires a brutally honest confrontation. You have to clearly see the exact psychological and social costs of abandoning your current self.
Moving into part 2 of the protocol, we have to interrupt your autopilot throughout the day. Look, journaling in the morning is great, but you need to consciously shatter those unconscious loops as they happen. So you're going to set random alarms. Let's say at 11 a.m., your alarm goes off, and you immediately ask yourself, what am I actively avoiding right now by doing whatever it is I'm currently doing? If someone were to film the last 2 hours of my life, what would they conclude I actually want? These daily interrogations continue to break up your normal patterns. So, maybe it's 7:30 p.m., another alarm sounds. You ask, what did I do today? Out of a need for identity protection, rather than out of genuine desire. And you have to be radically honest here. It's highly likely that most of what you did today falls into that protection category. When did you feel most alive today? And when did you feel the most dead? Where exactly in your life are you trading true aliveness for the illusion of safety? You have to maintain this very serious, reflective tone with yourself to expose the uncomfortable realities driving your daily behavior.
Finally, we reach the evening synthesis phase, where you compress all of these scattered insights. You ask yourself, what is the actual enemy here? Name it clearly. It's not your circumstances. It's not other people.
It is the internal pattern running the show behind the scenes. So you write down a single sentence capturing exactly what you refuse to let your life become. That's your compressed anti-vision. Next, you write a single sentence describing exactly what you are building toward. That's your vision MVP. From there, you set new teleological lenses for yourself. You establish a 1-year lens so you know what breaking the pattern looks like, a 1-month lens to actually make that year possible, and then daily actions, things you can time block for tomorrow, that the person you are becoming would simply do as a matter of course.
Which brings us to turning your life into a video game. At this point, you have all the raw components of a meaningful life design. But to really lock it in and protect your focus moving forward, we are going to organize your insights into one highly coherent plan. We do this by comparing the structure of a meaningful life directly to the mechanics of a video game.
As the psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi famously noted, the pursuit of a goal brings order and awareness because a person must concentrate attention on the task at hand. Think about it. Games are the absolute poster child for creating obsession and triggering flow states. Why? Because they provide a perfectly ordered structure. They offer clear feedback, obvious progression, and escalating challenges that quite literally force you to concentrate your attention and momentarily forget everything else in the world. If we can just reverse engineer these game mechanics, we can live in a continuous state of deeper enjoyment, encounter far fewer distractions, and experience ongoing success.
So the crucial point is how we actually map your life to this framework. It works like this. Your anti-vision is what's at stake. It's what you lose if you fail. Your vision is how you ultimately win the game. Your 1-year goal is your overarching mission. Your 1-month project? That's the boss fight. Your daily levers are the individual quests you complete. And your constraints are the rules of the game. These components act as a concentric set of circles. They create a literal force field that guards your mind against endless distraction. If you actively play this game, you will genuinely have no other option but to become obsessed and feel the pull towards something far greater.
And the more you play this game, the stronger this invisible force becomes, until it simply becomes who you are. Which leaves us with one final, deeply provocative question for you to reflect on right now. If you never write the rules to your own game, whose game are you unconsciously playing? It is time to begin your day of self-excavation.